Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. I'm going to tell you a story today about a buddy of mine from church named George who's shopping for a tractor. And he's probably fairly typical of most of you out there that watch my channel. And I'm going to tell about a group of people that tend to get people like George in big trouble and how that almost happened with George. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant today about that because it has affected me in my sales career when I'm trying to sell somebody a tractor. So first off, let's get to George. If George has any tractor experience at all, is a long time ago, maybe on grandparents' farm or cousin's farm or something. I don't think he grew up on a farm. If he did, he's been gone a long time, lived in town most of his life. He's a business owner. He's an intelligent guy, but he doesn't know much about tractors. So when he gets down in the shopping process, he knows what I do and he gives me a call. Now, George is a little different. He's afraid of Google. He doesn't have a Gmail account, so he can't subscribe to my YouTube channel, but he knows I do these videos and he wants my opinion. So I'm glad to give it to George. But George calls me, and George has already done some of the things that I highly recommend when you're shopping for a tractor. And these are all in my book, plug for my book, Insider's Guide to Purchasing a Tractor, available on my website. But the first thing he's done, He's visited several dealerships and he's established a relationship with a particular salesperson at one dealership. And that's the most important thing you can do when you're shopping for a tractor, is to find a dealership that you click with, that you get along with, and you think they've got your best interest at heart, and buy what they're selling. Because I get questions all the time, what's the best tractor brand? The best tractor brand is the one sold by the best dealer that you get along with. The best product in the world without dealer support's not worth much. So first thing you do when you're shopping for a tractor, and George has done this, is find your dealer and find what they're selling. The second thing he's done that I really like, and I tell people this all the time, you almost never can buy too big a tractor. And George was originally shopping for around a 40 horse tractor, and he's bumped up to the one he's looking at is close to 50 horse. And I always say get the biggest tractor you can afford, because almost everybody, once they get a tractor and realize what it can do, they always think, oh, if I'd have got the next biggest one, I could get a bigger brush hog, or I could get more dirt in the bucket, or pull more things. So get the biggest tractor you can afford. Now, if you're a billionaire and you're wanting to mow 3 acres and you buy a 225 horse tractor, don't do that within reason. You don't want to get something too big you can't get around in the woods if you go in the woods once in a while, but I think you get what I'm saying. So George has decided he wants around a 50 horse tractor. And that's important because there is one thing you always look for when you're trying to sell a tractor, that one activity that is going to take the most horsepower or the most lift capacity. In George's business, he's in the fire extinguisher, fire control business, and he picks up bottles on a pallet. And he said there could be some pallets that weigh right around 2,000 pounds. In my experience, if you're trying to lift a ton, 40 horse is not enough. It'll show it on paper that it is, but it's really not a big enough tractor. So moving up to the next frame size, up above 40 to 47, will probably be what he needs to do. And I can tell you that from experience. So we're talking about the options he's looking at and the models and everything about it. And I'm really liking where George is going. I don't see any problems. He's found a tractor in that 40 to 50 horse range with a bigger frame with hydro. And he's thinking about buying that. And I'm totally on board with where he's at. So we've got it focused on what we're going to buy and who we're going to buy it from. And then I tell him about negotiation. And I talk a little bit about negotiation in my book. You can a lot of times negotiate on a tractor. Now, COVID kind of screwed all that up. You know, for a long time there was short of inventory, you paid list price, and just were thankful you could get the tractor when you needed it. That's gotten a little bit better, but a lot of times dealers are hesitant to negotiate much, but it never hurts to try. So I've told him about that. So he's just about to make his final decision, get his checkbook out, and go forward with the tractor. And I get an email from him and he says, I'm thinking about changing to a shuttle. I'm like, what? Why? Now there's those of you out there that are big fans of gear shift transmissions, and that's fine. Don't have a bit of problem for you, but not for me. I'm a hydro guy. Now let me talk about transmissions, because this is where a lot of people get a tractor they don't like. You know, back in the early days, it was real easy. You know, the old 8-in Fords or the old tractors had a 8x2 or a 9x3 transmission. They had just a basic non-synchronized transmission, and that's what you got. When shuttle transmissions came along, and a shuttle is a device that if you're going forward at one speed and you shift into reverse, you're going the same speed backward. And the old tractors with the 8x2 or the 9x3, they weren't synchronized from forward to reverse, and the speeds weren't matched. So if you were going forward at 5 miles an hour and you shifted into reverse, you were going back at 1 mile an hour, and it was a big problem. So a shuttle changed all of that. You're going forward and reverse the same speed, and you're shifting a lever usually on the left-hand console to go back and forth. And most of the shuttles are synchronized from forward to reverse. So you're moving forward a little bit, you can shift and then go back. Another type of transmission that took it one step further is a power shuttle. And a power shuttle is usually electric over a hydraulic. It's a device that you don't have to clutch to shift gears or ranges or to go from forward to reverse. You just go back and forth with your lever. You don't ever have to touch the clutch. All of those transmissions are fine if that's what you've got and that's what you love. Me personally, I love hydrostatic drive transmission, and that's what I think George needs. And here's my reason for wanting a hydro. Number one, if you're a novice tractor operator, you've usually used a lawnmower with a hydro transmission, so you're used to it. Number two, if you got family members that might or might not get on the tractor, if they have to clutch, they're probably not going to use it. And George has got a son and maybe grandchildren that are coming on that will eventually use this tractor. He's 76 years old, so he's not going to be using it for 50 years, but his kids and grandkids may. So we want to get one that's friendly to them. Number three, if you're using a front-end loader and going back and forth a lot, a hydro is the way to go. You can use the pedal to go back and forth. It's really easy. Number four, and this is why I recommend a hydro for me, and I won't go back to a gear drive transmission. If you're trying to back real slowly under like cedar trees to brush hog, or if you're on hills and you're really wanting to go really slow, a hydro is a way to do it, because if you start to feel the tractor maybe getting a little unstable, you just back off of it. Now, a lot of people have trouble with the fact that the hydro, you don't use the brake to stop, you let off of it to stop, but you get used to that really quickly. Now, the things against a hydro, why George, and this is the point of my story, has decided he wants a shuttle, is he's got a buddy. A buddy or a neighbor can really screw up your tractor buying decision. And this buddy drives a tractor for MoDOT, the Missouri Department of Transportation, bush hogging right-of-ways. And he tells George, you don't want a hydro because they build heat. And you're going to have to keep your foot on that pedal all day. It's going to wear out your leg, and you're going to have, knee problems and all that. All true if that's what you're doing. But George, you're not buying a tractor for the Missouri Department of Transportation. You're buying one for you. And I'm going to say, hydros do build heat. If you brush hog all day long with a hydro, you'll eventually burn it up because that's tough on them. I remember one time I told our New Holland service rep, when I was in the dealership world, we're selling a lot of tractors with hydros going for bush hogging. And he goes, ooh. I'm like, why? And his thing was they build heat, they're not going to live as long. But in the real world, my experience has been my hydrostatic drive tractor will last about as long without having a hydro serviced as the gear drive transmission, especially the way I use a tractor, backing up a lot. And you'll be putting a clutch in a gear drive transmission about the same time you'll be replacing or rebuilding a hydro. And the cost is going to be close to the same, maybe a hydro's more, but the longevity of either one, even when you're bush hogging, is not that much different. And George, I think, is buying 15 acres, so it's not like he's going to be bush hogging all day long for hours on end. And he's probably not going to get out there when it's 100 degrees outside. So George, get a hydro. Now, some people don't know this, but most hydrostatic drive tractors have cruise control either standard or as an option for big open areas. So it'll keep the pedal down while you move. If you're getting a hydro, definitely get that. This always frustrated me in the dealership world when I was a salesperson. I'm building up a relationship with my customer, and I'm trying to get them the tractor that they need for their operation based on the fact that I've sold people very similar to them the same tractor, the same configuration tractor, and everybody's happy with it. Nobody's complaining. And in the last hour of the negotiation, they come in and they talk to a neighbor or a friend who says, oh no, you don't need a 40-horse tractor with a hydro. You need a 70-horse tractor, a 100-horse tractor with a gear drive, because who knows when you might want to pull a disc chisel or a ripper or some crazy tillage tool. And it screws up the whole deal, and it makes you look like you're trying to throw something on the customer they don't need. But I always try to get the customer what they needed for their operation, and you're not buying for your friend, you're not buying for your neighbor, you're buying for you. And I think you probably, if you're a novice tractor owner and you want the most convenience, get a hydro. They're awesome to run. Other family members are not intimidated by them, and you'll be happy with it. Now, if you want to disagree with me, put it in the comments down below. But George, that 47 horse or however many horse it is with a hydro, I think is a perfect thing for you to get, and I think you'll be happy with it. And when you and I are gone, your family will be happy with it as well. I appreciate you watching my videos. Now, don't be like George and be afraid of Google. Get you a Gmail account, and then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the mic face icon, and check the bell so you get notified when I post future videos. If you'd like to check out my book, An Insider's Guide to Purchasing a Tractor, and a bunch of other cool things for the tractor owner, go to my website right here. And here's another couple of videos you might want to watch. Thanks for watching.